Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another painting stream with me, Bachicolio. Today we will continue our work on the Norse ladies. I really don't know exactly where to go from here. I mean, which steps to take in which order quite yet. All I know is that I'm going to finish up with the base color with the gold details. Hey there, Pig in Space. How's it going today? And see where we'll go from there. There are plenty of options. Yeah, I get it. As long as it still sort of feels okay, I think that's about as much as anyone could hope for realistically. Yeah, exactly. Of course, an overall tolerance of the surrounding conditions is also preferable, with being well and sort of not hating your current condition. That's pretty much fine for, well, stability reasons, I guess. I'm gonna be... Yeah? Is it good? Oh, so, an actual gameplay, not like my experience with just the trailer. What are your impressions on it? Mm-hmm. Is it... Right. Is it more like Castlevania or more like, let's say, Souls-like, as in roguelike, where you restart upon death with some of what you've earned kept? Or is it just a single playthrough like Castlevania type games? Or so with some checkpoints or something along those lines? Yeah? Oh, that is to be expected if it is a retro-inspired on checkpoints. Okay, right. Good, good, good. So that's actually another take. So in that way, it would be different from. Mm-hmm. It would then be different from, let's say, Dead Cells, because it was more like you need to die multiple times, and during the runs that you're still alive, acquire some stuff that helps you get further in the next time you respawn and something like that. So in this case, it is more along the lines of a traditional gameplay, and I'm pretty okay with that because it's getting a bit too... Mm-hmm. Because these are the two current trends that you have in, especially in the retro inspired ones. Yeah, that's cool. Because one school is for die until you acquire enough stuff, and the other one is just push on through with checkpoints. That's okay. Are there a lot of puzzles throughout? So keys that need to be switches that need to be. Yeah, these are usually they are notoriously hard. Okay, that's good, because if you get a huge area and you fill it with puzzles where you're not really sure what combination does what, you might get a bit too much backtracking, which might extend the playtime but reduce the overall enjoyment of it. So that's good that they didn't go for that. And of course boss fights, yeah. With distinct killing animations if they get to kill you. I did see that in the trailer. That's fine, so it's straightforward, go along. Yeah. Was he checking in-game or on a wiki? That's pretty key, at least for me. I really don't like games that you need to have external reference for nowadays in the game. Okay, that's good. Because there, let's say if you're playing Dead Cells for the first time especially, pretty much impossible to get a good grip on some of the finer intricacies without reading 60 pages of wiki, which is absurd in this day of age. Yeah, that's fine, having these little things to spur on the 100% completionists, because they need to have stuff to do too. Okay. Right, so you could get yourself into a bind. But overall, did you like it? How did it seem to you? Okay. Okay, so it did bring an interest. Oh, sure, there probably is, and this type of game usually would have some speedruns. Yeah. Me personally, while I do prefer slower turn-based games and such, I do find myself in the position where sometimes a bit of a different paced game, like something like these, is refreshing and keeps the juices flowing. Like, I had a good run with Dead Cells, it was pretty fun for a while. But it is very much a personal preference kind of thing. Aside from that, I do prefer the slower games. Again, because I mostly play them for purposes of relaxing rather than competition and getting stressed over it. Now, since today I'm gonna be painting both metallics and non-metallics, there are quite a few of those, yeah. I'd say Super Meat Boy would fall into this category pretty well. So I did think ahead and okay. I think I get where this is going. So I did bring along 2 containers of water, one being this little glass plastic cup that I will be using for the metallics, and then I will use the normal pot for the non-metallics so that I don't get any extra flakes of metallic sheen. So this is to suggest that maybe today I do have my head on my shoulders, but this remains to be seen. Oh, okay. Right. So, in the spirit of get over it, let's start painting. And we will be starting off with some Balthazar gold, which will be the basis for all of our golden surfaces. I can imagine. As usual, metallics do require a bit of extra shake compared to normal paints. Let's see if that's enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Oh, really? What did we get? Alrighty. Meanwhile, I will just start laying down the gold. A Spanish team. Oh, that's cool. I don't think we got to play with a Spanish team on the Euro on the European. So we are already starting off with a new experience. Yikes. Okay, well. Chaos Renegades will be fun to play against. Well, wait, no. Chaos Renegades are the normal Chaos? Or is it the Renegades with the... I keep confusing them. Oh, okay, so it is the one with the the three big guys. Chaos Chosen was the new name for just Chaos. That's right. Yeah. So I do keep to what I said initially, that it would be fun to see how they play. I don't think I've ever faced one. I'm actually looking forward to being the one play against them, but we'll see how that will turn out. Ogre with Juggernaut. Well, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, fair enough. Did he give him a skill or just unskilled there? I think pros tend to play with just two of the big guys. I'm not really sure. Troll with guard. Okay. Ah, yeah. I missed that. So what else do we get? Chaos Dwarves, they are, as usual, a nightmare. I don't like playing against them, but if I have to, I will. Probably. What else? Orcs. Orcs will be fun to see in this competition, as they are not usually a favorite team, so they might have something fun with them. Necro, this one will be probably quite competitive to play against, as well as the Dark Elf and the Undead. So me personally, it'd be interesting to play against Chaos Renegades and Orcs. It'll be beneficial to play against the Dark Elves, and I really wouldn't want to meet the rest. Well, you say just, but that is troublesome. Which one would you like to face, and which ones would you rather avoid? That'll be an interesting style to play. Wonder why he didn't pick at least one killer. Like at least one claw. Maybe he wanted to have more skills available, who knows. Yeah, with the Dauntless and with Zug. That's true. Also, against Orcs, you would probably have a good time, depending on how much guard they have. And you are somewhat faster than them. That is strange. Why would he not get a positional with a built-in block? Well, that probably... Like, as I've said previously, I kinda like assassins. I don't know what he had to sacrifice to get him on the roster. For 20k, what would he get? Maybe a blitzer. With leap, yeah, this is a very, it's a crazy tactic, but most people don't expect it. So the idea is to blitz in a cage and stab the ball carry. Declare a blitz, leap into the cage, and stab. Yeah. I was actually intending to do this on our local league, but I forgot. I collected the gold to buy him, and then I forgot I wanted to buy an assassin, and I got a witch elf. Oh, you say low. Aside from the peasants, everything is 8, so it's decent. Also, if you don't leave him based at the end of your turn, he will probably use his blitz action, meaning that you can kinda use it to your advantage to predict his turn. How many witches does he have? Two. Block and wrestle? Probably. Really? Ooh. Yeah. By the way, for the ogre and the Mino, wouldn't you actually switch out their skills? Because Juggernaut is for blitzing, and it would be easier to blitz with the Mino. Yeah, but Juggernaut means that he will need to blitz with the ogre, which is weird. He probably won't be activating it more than twice. He'll probably use it as a Beast of Nurgle, I think. So just put him somewhere and not move him for most of the game. Because he already does have the other strength with the two guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, that goblin is... Ugh. Yeah. As long as it's not a double, I think that would be a good idea. Although it would become expensive because you would like your tentacles dude to have another skill to make him more reliable for standing, like maybe stand firm or block. So he wouldn't be easily blitz offable. And if you stick those tentacles on, they stay on. I don't know. Ah, yeah, he uses it for block, that's right. How do I do this without... breaking everything? But the goblin is nasty. I will admit. It does give some very good score. Does he have a dark elf on the roster? Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, exactly. So he would have two rather agile pieces that will run around the pitch. Two damage dealing ones. And the rest will just be support, I suppose. Hey there, it's Adolf. Yeah, that's exactly what we are discussing. What are your preferences and comments? Exactly, yeah, Ogre and Minor will beat you up, the Goblin and the Lion and the Dark Elf will run around, and the rest will be just fodder here and there. Yeah. Was Animosity a 2+? Yeah, so... Can you see chat before joining? Spig and Space did write down 2+. So there might be some desperate attempts for passing if it comes to that, but I doubt we'll see it. I don't know. I think we could do it. Are the actual matchups uh, declared, or are they gonna become? What? Oh, okay. Because we are currently just theorizing over what would you prefer to go up against and whatnot, but if there is actual information on what it is, that'd be super. I keep trying to dip my brush in the water for the non-metallics. So it is bound to happen at some point. What'd you send? Okay. Then I will just wait and put some more paint here and there. Oh, okay, so it's not yet out. In that case, all speculations are back on. So, Itsanif, please feel free to contribute to our discussion and let us know. Which team would you like to face? Or teams? Which one would you dread? Ah, sure. We are just building up the hype. Otherwise, it's more or less watching paint dry. And although it is metallic, shiny paint in this case, probably not the mostest entertaining thing ever. Recorded on camera, at least, yeah. Well, that is fair. An undead mirror. By the way, Big in Space noted, and I am still also wondering, why do you think he would pick a single white, a single blitzer? Oh, okay. Oh, the Necro had a single one. Yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, alright. And I may have just gotten it wrong. Oh, okay. So he's probably just numbering them based on their minis. So that covers the team that you would most like to face. How about the one that you would least want to face out of that squad? Yeah, I don't think anyone would want to face them. Even if they are not kill built. Guard spam and break tackling bulls would not be fun to play against. Well, the break tackle is not that much of a problem, but the overabundance of guard and tackle and block would be annoying for sure. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh, right. I do agree, yeah. Hmm. Curious. Yeah, sure. If he has a plan or something, or he's just good and experienced, sure. It will be fun. Yeah, orcs. I don't think that there will be any mirrors. Uh, except the possible undead mirror. Does he start with both wolves? Or does he just keep the one? Bloody lovely then. Yeah, I know. Force of habit, to use the term start. Mm. Right. Funny how you actually want the mirror match. But yeah, you said that this is based on coach experience. Okay. Well, he's still better than me. You have wrestle. Yeah, blodge does not account for wrestle. I'll have to do touch-ups again. Damn it. Okay, for 30 minutes. See ya, dude. Nice. How so? You can schedule it or what? Oh, does it not say in the contacts list? I think that the spreadsheet for the ramp ups has one of the sheets has their contact information, maybe. Also, you could probably hunt him down in Discord. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that's gonna be one of those. Well. Worst case, you can always contact the admins, let them know of this, and even if nothing can be done, it'll just be an admin loss or win, so... only problem would be you wouldn't play your game, which is a waste. Aside from that, doesn't exactly make any difference. Yeah, this isn't doesn't occur too often to have such a shaky understanding with your opponent. Usually things are clear cut, but if he's in ramp up, that means he is new to Rebel. So you wouldn't know what to expect. Meanwhile, I am getting super messy. For some reason, I have lost all ability to control where paint goes. Funny enough, this always happens with metallics. Weird this way. Sometimes it happens with normal colors, but it always happens, and it doesn't matter what kind of brush I use or anything. Yeah, you could say that. Because I'm struggling with the paint consistency. It's either too light or too thick, and when I try to apply it and they are small elements, yeah, that might help. And for instance, here I just went completely black. Yeah. Maybe that could help with your opponent today. Ugh. Right. I'm seeing as how things are going, I have the sneakiest of suspicions that I won't really get much done today either. Probably cover up the golds and yeah. Well, see, I've only already spent about an hour and I'm almost done with one mini. Yeah. With just the gold, and then I will have to clean it up. So probably gonna be the rest of the stream just struggling with that. Yeah. Right. Yeah, how should I say this? Have you ever watched... Yeah. Have you ever watched PewDiePie? Just to uh, get an idea, because then what you're just describing would make a whole lot more sense. Also, you do have to consider that the Twitch viewer base is within the teens age window, meaning 12s to, I don't know, 16s, maybe even less than that, maybe 8 or 19. And you can imagine that someone, well, PewDiePie was the first big hit on YouTube and I think on Twitch as well, with literally millions of subscribers. And he managed to hit some insane numbers in terms of revenue. And if you were to see one of his YouTube videos or streams, you would see that there is sort of a trend. Yeah, well, imagine you're 12. Who would you rather watch if we compare this channel to the one that you mentioned? The guy that watches paint dry for a couple of hours, or the guy who insults people and cheats? You know? It's completely understandable. That's how most of it works. I'm not being insulting here or anything, it's just stating facts. World of Ships, is that by the same company that made World of Tanks? Or... Yeah, it is a bit striking and it is a bit discouraging in some cases, because you do need to okay, so it's just another venue of them. That does sound like a fun premise though. Ships are fun, especially battleships. Well, that does make sense. It is to be expected. Hmm. Well, if it were realistic, it'd be even slower paced. All things considered. Right, so back to painting. Well, if it's still in beta, they will probably work at it. I mean, they did quite a lot for World of Tanks, and I think that if it catches on... Also, multiplayer games where you can join the streamer are a lot more popular than just sitting there and watching. So that is a boost. Because you said something about a beta key. Still though. All right, all right. But yeah, if you were to go to suggested streamers that are based on viewership and popularity, you would probably mostly see similar things. I see. Hmm. Well, you know. It's an unnecessary strike from me. Hey, what happened to the music? I think this time it did die. It did? Oh, no, it didn't. It's just an 8-minute long ambient song. Which is currently winding down. There we go. Yeah, it mimics the sound of silence. I just realized I haven't complained about metallic paints in a while. I'm not going to, but I will mention that I am getting annoyed. Yeah, just every other... Yep. Yep. Look at it, it doesn't do anything. It puts the paint on the brush, but the paint doesn't go on the mini. Oh yeah, it's again this case where when it's not highlighted, it sort of blends with the browns. When you saw them in real life, though, do you think that the gold stood out from this, or do I still need to look for more contrast? All right. maybe changing the brush would help. Yep. That's a good thing, actually. When you stop actually applying this, like, if I am being the one that's receiving the critique, the second I stop actually receiving this as a some sort of an insult against me and actually make me think about it, a lot of the things you say make quite a bit of sense, and I do enjoy hearing them, because I can take it into account. Like, for instance, that thing about the gems on the oafs. I didn't really even it hadn't occurred to me that I could actually give them another color and splash in some diversity, and this is a good idea. And actually, if I do get the time, this is one of the few things that I will want to do before finishing them up for the World Cup. And as far as the gold here is concerned, I'm looking at it on the preview window, and it does blend with the brown. Matter of the fact is that the satin sheen of the non-metallic paints of Citadel, they do have a satin finish as opposed to a clear matte. And the additional sheen from the metallic doesn't set it apart that much. Yeah. And I will make one of them green, one of them red, and because these aren't colors that I have on the team at all. Well, I have red for hair, but I've dimmed it. I've shallowed it down, so there will be a bit more splash of diversity. Because as I mentioned, I tend to just pick out the paint that I'm gonna use for the current painting session. And I rarely go out of the box from there. And that way, any suggestions, whether or not I implement them, it is still nice to have them as an external viewer. Especially if this is work in progress, because in that case I can more easily take it into account if I like the idea. Yep. By the way, not for nothing, but the changing the paintbrush did help a little bit, at least on these larger, flatter surfaces. Listening to the... yeah. Was just gonna say that. No, it's for metallics, if I use a brush that is too fine tipped, it doesn't get enough paint on the Mini. And so it becomes a lot harder to build up color. So with even though the brush is wider on top, the tip itself dries out quicker, and even though the bulk is thicker, doesn't get enough paint on. And these are very sensitive paints to this, so I have to resort to a thicker brush, like a thicker point brush. And the trouble that comes from that is that the metallics are usually very fine, small details, and it becomes a bit of a pain to paint them with a larger brush. So it may actually be time to just go for another paint range, at least for the metallics, and set the citadels aside for terrains. If I ever get around, maybe for the Necromunda terrains, we could just splash a whole bunch of this paint. Because it would be good for large surfaces. It is in the details that it gives out. As discouraging as it sounds, that is not completely untrue. And I am very much noticing that the camera is going out of whack again, because of my pale skin getting in frame, but unfortunately I can't keep the model upside down without my hand being in frame. So this is just one of those moments where you gotta bite the bullet. By the way, here I am, for the flat part of the rim of the helmet, I am using the same technique that I showed you when painting the highlights on the fur pelt. So I am painting with the side of the brush instead of the tip. Just as a bit of trivia. Because that way it is the 3D aspect that picks out the paint it needs. Yep. However, here on the top of the rim, I do have to use the tip of the brush, and as you can see, I will mess it up. Which would require me to touch up, make some patchwork later on. Yeah, especially on this side, as you can probably see. Wait. I've tried it, and what it leads to is getting more blue on the gold. It is, when dealing with these small details, it is pretty much inevitable to have this back and forward a few times. Unless, of course, you are skilled enough to paint so neatly that you wouldn't need it. But for my current skill level, either way would lead to the need of a touch-up, so... Perhaps I shouldn't have done it before applying the first metallic, and just wait until I got the gold on, and then just do it once for the whole model. Yeah. Something to think about. But yeah, I have seen painters go over the metallics first instead of last. It is a viable approach. And it's more of a mindset for me, because the metallics act as a final detail, something to add a little bit of additional sparkle to the mini. And in my head, it just doesn't make sense to be painted on first. Although there is absolutely nothing that would necessitate this. It's just my way of thinking about it. Also, it would be a little bit weird to put the metallics on directly on the gray primer. But yeah. Hey there, and a happy new haircut, I suppose. No. Yeah, it wouldn't matter, it's just, it would be weird to look at. Oh, probably. Or maybe they are just hiding him as a secret weapon. Hmm. You never know. Yeah, the World Cup site is not the best in terms of ease of finding anything. Sadly. The camera wants me to keep my fingers to myself. And so I will try. And just when I was about to say that I'm done with this one, I saw that I missed the rims on the bracers. So in we go. Almost there. Inside of the rim left. I can do it without. Well, it'll be hard without any paint on the palette, that's for sure. Okay, one down. Now I can say this with certainty, he says while giving it another look over, frantically panicking. Nah, it's fine. Next one up. Oh, it's Thursday. Yeah, that's right. The recap stream for my division is about to start. There was a rather disheartening comment in Discord regarding my abysmal loss against the Skaven. So I expect there to be some words spoken during the recap of this week. Should be fun to hear. Probably watch it after my stream. By the way, the next, so week 5 game will be on Tuesday. If anybody's interested, I will be, of course, posting it a bit ahead of time. Yeah, it will be Tuesday, probably at around what, 18 UTC, so 9 p.m. local. I still don't have final confirmation. Okay, that'd be great. I still don't have final confirmation from my opponent, but it'll probably happen soon. It was for initially for 18 UTC, so for 8 o'clock. However, this is already a school day, and I may have to start with the karate classes that I would teach at the school, and it ends at about 8 local time, so it'd be hard for me to just make a time jump on my computer. But I am also expecting further confirmation on that on Friday, so tomorrow. Yeah, sorry, my bad. It sprung into my head the second I said it out loud, and didn't think to go back and create it. Just cringed a little bit. But yeah, hopefully all of the schedule restricting items will be known by the end of this week. So I will be free to schedule around all of these appointments, let's say. It will be a busy season. Well, that's difficult to say. He said that he might have a free slot this weekend, but I'm not counting on it. And since he hasn't confirmed anything, I suppose it'll be for next week, maybe. Yeah. He said that there might be a chance to free up sometime during this weekend, but I don't think it's happening. It's fine though. We are in contact, so we will manage to meet our itineraries. I'm trying to get it for the weekend because after next week it'll be hard to get anything during the work week. Because Tuesdays and Thursdays will be on lockdown up until quite late in the evening. So tabletop will probably have to stay in the weekend. That being said, my weekends have opened up following my personal life development. So yeah, it's a bit of a shift up and down as far as free time's concerned. Okay, so can we get this girl done today? And by done, I mean just cover up the last pieces of gray primer. Or am I again setting my expectations for myself too high? That being said, this weekend is an adventure, this year's edition of an adventure. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. We might go together. There will be a lot of anime stuff, some cosplay, a lot of comic books, and quite a good representation of hobbies. I think a level up usually has a oh yeah, right, probably has a good paint miniature painting workshop setup. There may be an Aikido demonstration there by some of the guys in whose training hall I had my training a while back. Oh yeah, I think that's right. Oh, and also some video games will be played. I mean, there is it's a very good nerdatorium to spend some time in. I usually enjoy going there, even if it's just for the one day. No, I think you gave me a rough overview once, but to tell you the truth, I kinda forgot. Yeah. On your birthday, when we were having some drinks. I think it was mentioned just roughly, but I may have not been listening too well or something. The fact that it is a very strategically deep game, as in easy to understand the rules, but very hard to get them to work right, is something that I find a tiniest bit too daunting at this point. I don't know, I have a internal aversion to classic games such as chess. I do like backgammon and the occasional checkers, although checkers is also quite challenging for me. And I did read only learn the rules recently. Yeah, classic board games are something I am a bit... I wouldn't go as far as to say scared, but it's a bit daunting. And the reasoning behind this is also probably what's keeping me from making any noticeable progress in my Blood Bowl skills. I need to learn to play more systematically and less trying to reinvent the wheel every time I play. And I keep saying that this is something that will come from experience, but I think it would be objectively true to say that I did gain experience, and yet overall skill level is still in the gutter. This is just something I would need to put a bit more work on. Maybe play a few more CCL seasons. Get a better grip. I don't know if sticking to a certain team or a few teams would help me in that regard. Anyway, this is just a general comment. Instrumentals on this song remind me very much of the Doom 2016 soundtrack. I mean, playing multiple teams would help me identify the general strategies, and sticking to a certain team would help me become better with this particular team and see which strategies actually work for it. but that is not necessarily to say that I'll be able to apply the same thing with other teams. I would prefer to be mediocre with most teams rather than good with one or two. But I do have my preferences in teams, so maybe I should just lean into this. Not really sure myself, but there is something about it. I mean, it definitely isn't just the luck. Because you can just feel it when you're being tactically outplayed and outmaneuvered. You can just feel it on the pitch. So it definitely isn't about just the dice. I don't know. I think that there is a lot of chess in Blood Bowl, as in the reason I didn't like chess and I didn't like getting into it was when I found out how systematic it is, in that you basically don't make a single move out of your own accord, and you make everything based on some move that is invented by someone else. And so probably if you sit down and actually start seeing formations, learn to see formations, maybe that would boost your overall skill. As in, yeah, you identify this, so you see holes here, here, and here. You know that you need to put something in direct proximity, and that would, however, mean that you need to put this and this and this on some distance. Same way how you decide to put the smiley defensive formation 3 squares behind the line of scrimmage. I personally don't see a reason why it shouldn't be just 2 spaces behind it. But the way it goes is that you put it 3 squares behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe passive frenzy defense, I don't know. And of course, if you want to be aggressive in your defense, you can set up 1 space behind, so that any knockdowns and pushbacks are forced to not have a follow on them, because they would be into base to base. Perhaps, but again, why just the 3? Because you should be safe on the second, and standard formation is 3. I mean, things like that, things that personally I can't figure out from a logical perspective, but are just there, and they are just fact. And there are very few of those that I actually know, and maybe digging a bit deeper into it might help me more. It's interesting, because I do find the process of learning this game very fascinating, and it takes quite a bit of thought to actually identify whether or not what has occurred is based off of skill, or just the luck of the dice, or both, and in how much proportions, so you can isolate good games and so on. Mancala. Huh. I actually have not heard of that. Where does it originate from, do you know? Because it sounds Southern Asian. Maybe. By complicated, do you mean in terms of rules or in terms of gameplay possibilities or tactical variety? Rules and gameplay. Okay, so it comes with a large handbook. What? I was gonna say what will they think of next, but as you said, this is a classic game, so it's probably a bajillion years old. Aha, okay, okay, I think I get the overall gist of it. Oh. Mancala. Oh. Interesting. Right. Right. Well, that's approximately half done. So yeah, I should give the 1000 losses playbook another go. It did have some good things in there. Going back to the topic. Yeah, going outside of the tons of dice statistics, yeah, but beyond that, there are some formation ideas and so on, standardized, which is essentially what I'm looking for. But yeah, there is a lot of statistics that can that is more or less just to illustrate saying that one die block with block is better than two dice block without. And that is, however, explained in 3 pages of statistics. So there is a lot of that. But there are also ideas for formations, standards of play, that may give me a bit of an idea. Beyond that, I think it's just play. Just get a feel for it. Oh, and on the topic of the divisional recaps, the weekly divisional recaps, after maybe 3 recaps where they stated that I should drop 1 reroll because of the leader that I have, the very first recap after I dropped it, they commented that I should not have dropped it. I mean, come on. It's getting a bit weird. But I think 3 rerolls should be manageable, even for someone like me. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. There are occasionally there are some witty comments, some ideas. It's not too bad. And also it is another external view of the match that you played. Just based on statistics, so they don't watch every single game. They do watch the results and comment on the team development more than anything else. And they did, and then true. And at the end, what they do is some predictions on justified predictions on the games that are upcoming. Yeah. They use Goblin Spy as well. Still, it does depend who's doing the recaps, but so far I've been pretty happy with the recappers that I've had for my divisions. They usually cover 2 divisions for a total of an hour and a half, hour 50, something like that. So if you wait for the VOD and you can just watch 40 minutes recap of your own week. Oh yeah, Mighty Zug is a streamer, that's right. Yeah, I've watched some of his games. Well, Zug, Zunk, you know, as we are used to them being together on commentaries. Still, it's a fun little thing. Builds up a little bit of hype for the next week of Blood Bowl and so on, so I personally enjoy watching them. See how other teams are developing, and listen to some random Blood Bowl stuff. Also, the podcasts are pretty nice. They should come out every Saturday, but they don't. However, it's always on a Saturday that there is a podcast. Which is just general on Rebel news, Blood Bowl news, and again, random stuff. Sometimes they get interviews from someone who has... Whoo, nice. You might actually get Zug, well, for elves. I don't know. Sadly, nowhere in the game. And this is why I have such poor understanding of star players in general. Yeah, it'll... see, that's a thing that PC Blood Bowl doesn't allow, is to skip going for a journeyman and replace him with a star player. So you actually have less, whereas on tabletop you can opt to not have a journeyman, instead use the leftover cash. Which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, it puts journeyman to fill you up to 11 player roster, and it does count the value of the journeyman towards your available inducement money. Well, subtracts the value of the journeyman from your inducement money. So you would have what, 260? Yeah, there is no list, unfortunately, that you can see outside of the inducements phase on what star players are available to your team. And at this point, following the 216 Spike magazines and whatnot, it has become a bit of a mess. Oh yeah, Wizards definitely on. You could check to see if your opponent is the host for the game. He may have had somehow managed to get the cash for stadium, and you might want to see if there is an enhancement on the stadium. Although for ramp up, I doubt it. I doubt someone would have had enough money to buy a stadium upgrade and get something for it. Yeah, it's unlikely. But as you saw last game with Skaven, they had a wizard stadium, which kind of threw my calculations off, as I was gonna get a wizard, and then I got it for free, and then I didn't know what to do with all the cash, and so I bought some dumb stuff. Like a billion bribes that failed. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, standard lineup, I guess. But how does that generate 260 in inducements? It's weird. Especially in Toon games. Anyway. Okay, that makes sense now, alright. Oh, okay. Yeah, elves do tend to do that. Although I say that and I haven't had a full roster team for a while. For some reason today I'm feeling really spent from the painting. Like, it really wore me out. And I haven't been doing anything, like just smashing gold and stuff. Maybe it's burnout creeping in. I don't know. No, just overall feeling of the body. I'm just feeling getting sloppy, and my arms are getting tired, and whereas usually I feel more comfortable. Or maybe it's just one of those days, you know. Still, I will go through with the gold. Nah. No, what was that, for focus? Focus pills, Adderall, was it? Yeah, something like that. Because physical stimulants would probably get me more jittery, and so it'll actually be counterproductive. Oh, is it? Okay. Didn't know that. Hmm. Why does that not surprise me? I always thought it was American developed, like US. Maybe because they use it most nowadays. Guess I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think it has a higher impact on the heart. Or was that MDS? I think it was MDS. Either way, I don't think any of those will actually be necessary for me to put some paint on plastic. Especially the stakes are not that particularly high for me to resort to such performance enhancers. Maybe if I were to decide... Okay. Yes, that is known. Or maybe if someday I decide to do a 24-hour stream, but that will be very far down the line, considering I think that 3 hours is my optimal most. We'll see, time will tell. Yeah, I think so. Really, what conditions? Because I know, for instance, LSD has been developed for what do you call it? For I think it's for schizophrenia, but I didn't know amphetamine was also intended as a. So what? Some cerebrodegenerative conditions? Oh, okay. Yeah, narcolepsy would make sense. Hmm. That's interesting. I really, for specifically for the amphetamines, I didn't know that did apply. Oh, okay. And are these treatments? Yeah, I know that. But I thought it of more of a, how should I say, unconscious side effect rather than being aimed for that. Although, if it does have the effect. Okay. Instead of adrenaline, or what was the synthetic one? Epinephrine? To kickstart the heart? Motley Crue? No, no, for the heart. Yeah. Oh, so okay, okay. So it's for when it hits the brain. All right, I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. I don't know. That's always the first thing. Okay. That springs to mind is heart failure. Hmm. Okay. These are cool things to know. Like I personally never thought about the neuro system. Hmm. Right. That's cool. Again, like I said, I never put any thought in that aspect when it comes to when you think overdose, the first thing. Yeah, sure, of course. But it was genuinely an interesting insight to this information. So yeah, in summary, no performance enhancers would be required for painting miniatures, in case anyone is wondering. Okay, see, that's probably where the misunderstanding in my mind came from. Oh, all right. Right. Hmm. Uh-huh. Yes, well, there are quite a few fields in which, in trying to generalize a certain subset of either actions or things more commonly, the layman term encapsulates more than it does in the scientific field from which it originated. So concepts like foundation and substance and things like that, where it would depend on which field it originated from to actually give a better definition. And it gets a bit weird when the topic is raised in a diverse environment. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, also quite a few of the legal ones, but right. So see, this is exactly what I was referring to when I mentioned that it is a general misconception that I have, and it's probably following just this. So yeah, here is definitely something more to know. That's cool. Right, well guys, I'm definitely done with painting for today. We did do something that I will have to fix and touch up next time. Not really sure if I'll be able to squeeze in a stream tomorrow. So it will probably be Monday. In case I do get some spare time, I will of course announce this in the usual way. Bye, Tarif, and thank you all for joining as usual. It is very appreciated. And so I would wish you all a lovely evening. Keep doing what you love, loving what you do, and as always, I've been Bachakolio, now signing out. Bye guys!